Kia ora, Tawhānau. My name is Akant V, and I'm an Associate Dean of Postgraduate Research here at UC, and I am here with Megan McAuliffe, Professor Megan McAuliffe, who is the Dean of Postgraduate Research, and we're here to answer a couple of questions. We put out a Slido last week and asked a bunch of questions, and thank you so much for getting back to us with your feedback. But one of the things that most people were talking about is how do extensions work. So we're going to try and clear up some of the air with regards to extensions. So I'll pass it off to Megan firstly, because you are reasonably brand new. How long have you been in the job now? Like 6-8 weeks?
Yeah, I think from the end of January, so not very long. I can't. This was not quite what I was expecting when I started my job on the 20th of January, but here we are.
Yeah, I think everyone can agree, though. Megan's done an amazing job in being 6-8 weeks into the job. So thank you so much for the feedback, for fighting for the students so far. But so I guess one of the questions that's asked most is about these extensions, this 1-month extension to students' enrollment. I wonder if you could explain to us who they apply to and how they're being operationalized. Do we need to apply for them? Do we need to go through some sort of process? And what does this 1-month extension mean?
Sure. Thank you very much, Ekant. That is a question that obviously a lot of students are coming up with. So the first thing I would say is try your best just to get your thesis done as soon as possible. But we recognize that for many of you, that might not be possible. So what we're saying is for all students who are enrolled in a master's thesis that's worth greater than or equal to 90 points, and all doctoral students, you'll get a month of grace. So this means we won't come and chase you up for your fees during that period. So if your thesis is due on the 31st of March, we'll give you until the end of April to get it in. That's it in a nutshell.
Awesome. Pretty much nice and clear. And for students, if you're not sure if your thesis is 90 points or more, you can go onto the University of Canterbury's website, put in your course code, and you'll be able to see how many points it is.
Exactly. And if you have any questions about this, please do contact the Postgraduate Research Office. They will be able to help you out.
Now, what about those students whose theses, their master's students, might be less than 90 points? What happens with them?
In that instance, the Postgraduate Research Office isn't actually involved with that section. So what we want you to do is, if you have got a thesis that's worth less than 90 points and you're a master's student, is to speak to somebody in your college. Okay, so go to your senior academic advisor or your academic manager, and that person will be able to help you out. So send them an email, look online, find out who the person is for your college, and contact them. They'll be able to help you out. We, with this particular extension, we're dealing with thesis students that are greater than or equal to 90 points for masters and doctoral students.
Awesome. So it's nice and clean anyway. So it means that everyone's getting that opportunity to not have to worry about applying or anything. So that's good. When this is for the extension that applies for the final submission of their thesis, what about things like confirmations or proposals or all this sort of stuff that goes in between? What happens there?
Absolutely. I've received a number of emails, and the Postgraduate Research Office have also received a number of emails from students who are in this situation. You've said, I've got my confirmation due next month and I'm having difficulty. Can I have an extension on that? Or my progress report is coming up. My supervisor has been extremely busy with everything related to COVID-19. They haven't been able to get feedback to me. Can you help me out? And the answer to that is yes, we can. So what we are doing is we have all student reports, so progress reports, supervisory agreements, confirmation. We have said that take an extra month to get that in if you need it. Now, I would also say that, try and get it done. If you can, wonderful, get it done by the due date, and that's really what everybody should be aiming for. But if you need a little bit of extra time, then that's absolutely fine. Take it. We're not going to chase you up.
Perfect.
And let your supervisor know that as well. This information is out there for supervisors. It's on the staff web, on the University of Canterbury COVID-19 webpage, but do let them know that we update that regularly and that information is there for them to look at as well.
Perfect. And I think that was a really good point about how busy supervisors are. I think we're doing our best to support the students and we're doing what we can. I think as well, we have to recognize that supervisors are all working from home as well at the moment. They might have whānau or care responsibilities. So some of you have said that you haven't been able to get in touch with the supervisors. Give them a couple of days to get into the new rhythm of what is happening. And then from there, I'm sure they'll be able to get in touch. If they're not, try and email them again and see if they'll get in touch with you and start making some meetings again.
Good idea.
Perfect. So I guess it's time for you to ask me a few questions about scholarships then, seeing as how that's the area I work in.
Yes, so as you know, I'm the Dean of Postgraduate Research, but Akant is an Associate Dean and his responsibility is for scholarships. So if you ever send an email to me and it's about a scholarship question, I forward it straight to ACOUNT and he's the one that responds. So ACOUNT, the question is, are you still processing scholarships at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a number of scholarships, not just doctoral scholarships and master's scholarships. There's a bunch of other scholarships that happen. And yes, we are still processing them. We are all settling into our new normal at home. So give us a couple of extra days to get into that process. But we are all working on making sure those scholarships are being processed. And hopefully you'll hear back on the results as soon as possible.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So what about those students who are scholarship holders and they're having some difficulties at the moment? Maybe they can't access participants for their research, or they're not able to do their experiments, or they have significant childcare or family responsibilities. What happens in those instances?
So if you are holding a University of Canterbury funded scholarship, so a University of Canterbury doctoral scholarship or a Canterbury scholarship or a Brownlee or something like that, then we will enable you to apply for up to 2 months extension on your stipend. So you will get an extra, up to 2 months extra if you've been significantly affected by the COVID-19 disruption. If you are funded by an external scholarship, so a Marsden or a UC Connect or something like that, what we ask you to do is talk to your supervisor, and your supervisor can then contact Research and Innovation, and we will try to negotiate those on your behalf. So you don't need to go to your funder, your external funder, and try and ask for extra money. We'll get the university to do that. We just need to be made aware of that. So get your supervisor to talk to Research and Innovation. For anything that's done internally, you send an email to scholarships@canterbury.ac.nz, and we will be able to make a decision on that. For the externally funded grants and scholarships, then get your supervisor to talk to Research and Innovation.
Okay, so that means that for students who have a scholarship who would like to apply for an extension to their scholarship, they email scholarships.
Yeah.
But what kind of information should they be putting in that email?
So some really good ideas to put in. It's just exactly why you're impacted. So this is not a blanket extension we're providing for everyone. It's for people who are unable to work on their thesis or their research from home at this time. That could be, like you said earlier, Megan, you've got significant care responsibilities, either childcare or elder care. You've got sick yourself and you can't work on your thesis. You are unable to access your lab. You're unable to access equipment. These sorts of things where you need to collect data and you're unable to do that. All these sorts of things, stick in as much information as you can, and I'll review all that and be able to give you an extension. What I'm doing at the moment is probably giving everyone a 1 month extension during this lockdown period, but we'll extend that to 2 months if and when disruption continues. Some of you, I've heard, have had to scrap entire experiments, and that could take an extra month to restart those things. So yeah, we'll be able to support you as best we can with that.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that, Nikant.
No worries. Well, I think that's most of the questions that people had asked, but I think something that's important to talk about as well is just making sure that you guys take care of yourselves. You know, well-being is going to be a significant thing, not just for you, but also your whānau, also for your supervisors, and being able to make sure that we know we're in this physical isolation period, but not social isolation. So some tips from me is making sure that you are online, you're doing your work, but then also you disconnect, you separate yourself, you try and do something else for a while as well. Don't get stuck into that social media rabbit hole of searching up stuff all the time and trying to find out all the answers. Manage your time online as best as possible. Megan, is there anything you want to say with regards to wellbeing?
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to say firstly, just a big thank you to all of our doctoral and master's students who firstly responded to the surveys that the Postgraduate Research Office ran, and also then have engaged on Learn and responded to the Slido poll as well. We've taken that information and we've used it to think about the extensions and the various things we've put forward for students now. So on that FAQ section, as Ekant has said, take care of yourselves. There's information there around contacting student care, a various list of resources that you can access if you are finding that you're struggling. One of the things students have said as well is this, you might be suffering from financial hardship. If that is the case, please contact UCSA in the first instance, but we are aware of this issue and we are thinking of some other things that we might be able to come up with for you. And yeah, take care of yourselves, look out for each other, talk to each other online. We'd really like to see this have a positive impact on engaging in communities. So please do that.
Perfect.
Don't just sit there by yourself at home, working away on your thesis. Engage with people.
No, unless you're my students, in which case work on your thesis. If you have any questions about the extensions on your enrollment, the best way to contact us about that is contact the postgraduate office, and I'll put up the emails for that on this video. And if you have issues or questions about scholarship extensions, then contact the scholarships office, and we'd be more than happy to help you. But hopefully this has helped with answering those questions. Maybe in a week or so, we'll put up another Slido and get to see if there's any other further questions. Always ask those questions on the Q&A page. We're going to be monitoring those and trying to reply as quickly as possible. But again, Megan, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy with other things. Thank you for taking the time to chat to us about this. Take care, everyone, and ka kite anō. We'll see you next time, okay?
Bye, everybody.